Hello and welcome, or welcome back if you're new here. My name is Jennifer, and in today's video we will be making this cute little cake amigurumi. This is my very first amigurumi ever, so this will be interesting. The skill is intermediate, so it's not really for beginner, but luckily I'm not really a beginner, so I'm just going to go through what's inside and the instructions, and then I'll just kind of take you along with me as I go. If you've never crocheted before, this may be a little bit of a challenge, but if you have, this might be a fun little project. So let me move to the other table and we'll get started opening this kit. Okay, so obviously it comes with a picture, and if you open it up, it comes with its own little bag of polyfill. Hopefully this will be enough. And it looks like we've got some type of darning needle of some kind. It's very plasticky and cheap. We've got a hook, which is also very disposable. It doesn't give you... Oh, it does. It gives you a little size. It's hard to see it, though. It says 3mm on the side. So that's a 3mm hook. Comes with this like yellowish yarn, some black yarn for the face, looks like some eyes, and a stitch marker, and then some pink yarn. Those are the yarns. And then it comes with some instructions. Pretty basic instructions, actually. So here's the pattern. Gives you abbreviations, the supplies you need. Looks like so this is what's included, and this is additional ones we need. And honestly, a pencil is probably the only, and scissors is probably the only thing I'll need. Gives you abbreviations like this. Looks like we're working in rounds. Magic ring, chain, single crochet, double crochet, slip stitch, back loop only, stitches, increase, decrease, times 6 means to repeat it 6 times, and then the number in parentheses is the number of stitches in each round. So if you don't know any of those, that's okay. I'll show you when I get to them. So looks like it's pretty simple. I love how it says rounds and then it goes to rows, so I'm not quite sure what we're doing. I mean, rows make more sense. So it says working from the bottom up the sides. Okay. And then it continues on the back. We're going to work cake ends, cake top, and then finishing. And it gives you some pretty good ideas on just like the basics. Single crochets, double crochets, magic ring. The way they do the magic ring is interesting. Chain stitch, back loop only, slip stitch, and fasten off. All right, so pictures for reference, set it back there. And let's see, we're gonna start with, it says the first stitch of each row is below the starting chain. The first stitch of each row is below the starting chain, okay. It says with the cream, so we're starting with cream. It says with cream yarn, chain 2, single crochet, and second chain from the hook, single crochet in this next chain, and then turn. I wonder when we're doing the magic ring. I don't know. I guess this is just like in general. Maybe there is no magic ring in this one. Looks like we're just going to be making a starting chain, which is fine. Okay, with the cream yarn, chain 2. So we're just going to do like a slip knot, I guess. So what I did was the ends on this side, and I'm going to wrap my finger around and pull this up to make us, oh, okay, let's try that again. Working with the flexible hook is strange. I may or may not change it to one of my normal hooks, depending on how well this one is, but I'm gonna try my best to use this one, even though it's so flexible. So we're just gonna do a slip stitch onto the hook. Let me show you again in slow motion because I went kind of fast. What you could also do is pull over again, and do that. I mean, that's probably a better way. I did leave a tail. It doesn't say to leave a tail, but I usually do anyway. It says chain 2, so that's 1 and 2, and then single crochet in second chain from the hook, which is right here. So when I do this, I usually go in the back loop, like the little bump back here, just so my chains are clean. Yeah, working with this flexible hook is kind of, oh my goodness, a little bit challenging. Okay, so we made a little bit of a little ring-ish thing. This is chain 1 and turn. So we're chaining 1 and we're turning. Okay. Row 2, increase in the next stitch. So if you're increasing, that means we're putting 2 stitches in 1 stitch, basically. So it looks like we're doing single crochets. So 1, and then what I like to do, take my stitch marker so I know where I am. I have different kinds. This is a clip-on. This is a clip-on, so you push it closed like that. So I'm going to put that on the very first chain of row 2 if I can, because these are so tiny. It's so tiny. Oops, goodness, doesn't want to. This is so you can remember where the beginning of each row is. So there's 1, and you go back into this stitch and single crochet again. So that's 2 and 1. I am already confused because these parentheses tell you how many stitches. So there should be 2 total, right? But that doesn't make sense because there's, it says increase in the next stitches, 2, okay? That would make 4, right? And then single crochet across, chain 1. Interesting. Yeah, I might have to start over and see where I did wrong because that doesn't add up here. All right, I'll bear back. I figured it out. So the instructions here are, they don't make sense. So you're going to chain 2 on your, what we did earlier, we're going to chain 2. So you have 2 chains on your hook. And then single crochet in the second chain from the hook, which basically means single crochet in the very first chain that you made with your hook. And then it says single crochet in the next chain. There is no next chain. There's only 1. So completely omit this because that makes no sense. Because if we had 2 chains, if we had 2 single crochets in this row, we'd have 2, not 1. So this makes no sense. I'm crossing this out. And we're making a triangle because this is a cake. So what we're going to do now is we're on row 2. Now you can see the point here. It makes more sense. but I'm just like, I'm sitting here going, why is this not making any sense? So now we're gonna, let's see, did I chain one already? I think I did. So I did chain one, and now we're gonna turn. Okay, so we're gonna turn. Now we're working on the other side. And now in this row, we're gonna have an increase. So we're gonna have 2 stitches in this one, which we only have one. So we're gonna do 2 stitches, 2 single crochets in this one stitch as an increase. So that's 1, and then 2. And now you can slowly see the forming of the triangle. Now we have 2 stitches here. And each little V here, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Each little V right here, V, V, those are chains. So now we're on row 3. Row 3 is single, so we're gonna so single crochet across, chain 1 and turn. So I'm not quite sure. There should be a chain 1 and turn here, but there isn't. So that's what's confusing. So we did the increase, and then there should be a chain 1 and then a turn. Right? So my end looks like a U, turn. So now we're gonna chain 1 and turn it. Okay, and now we're gonna single crochet across, chain 1 because we only have 2. So 1 and 2. This isn't really a tutorial. This is more of a, let's see if I can make this. Because I have never made a 3D amigurumi with crochet before. So that's 2 single crochets total. That makes sense. And then chain 1, turn again. And now we're in row 4, increase in the next 2 stitches, and then chain 1, a total of 4. So we're going to add 1, 2 in this one stitch, and we're going to add 1, 2 in the second stitch with a total of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn. Already it's starting to look like what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so that's row 4. Row 5, single crochet across, and then chain 1. So we're going into each one of these chains, doing 1 single crochet in each chain. You know, here I am wondering why I am not seeing any type of tutorial on this particular kit. I think I know why now. Because the instructions make no sense, and I don't think anybody has tried to make this. So here I am trying to make this. So we're on row 6 now, and I did a chain, and I'm turning now. And it says increase in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, increase in the next stitch. So we're going to do our increases on the edges here and fill in the middle. So we're going to have a total of 6 chains in this row. So we're doing 1, 2 in this one. And I'm actually going to do my stitch marker here because these edges are a little hard to see. So that's the first chain, and here's the second one. And then we're going to do 1 in each of the next 2. So 1 in this one, and then 1 in this one. And then this last chain will have 2. Whoops. You know what I need? I need another stitch marker. That's what I need. Okay, we're gonna have 2 on the edge here. Okay, so we have a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're done with row 6. Notice how it's finally forming. It's finally forming. Row 7 and 8 are the same. Single crochet across and then chain 1 and turn. Okay, so we're gonna have 2 rows of the same. Chain 1 and turn. We're gonna put single crochet in each one of these for a total of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Stitch marker is just finicky. And then 6. And then chain 1 and turn. So that's row 7. Now on row 8, exact same thing. Single crochet in each one across for a total of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 1 and turn. All right, we're getting the groove on. Row 9, increase in the next stitch. 1 single crochet in the next 4. It's basically the same. So 2 on the edges and then fill in the middle. So we're doing 2 in this stitch. And then 1 in each one. 4. Okay, so 1 in each 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 2 on the last one. One, 2, chain 1 and turn. See, we're starting to get a nice shape here. Okay, so that's row 9. Row 9. Okay, so that's 8 in total. We can always check our work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, doing good so far. Row 10 and 11 are the exact same. Single crochet across each one and then turn. So starting to get the groove on. So it looks like we're going to be doing 2 rows of single crochet and then 1 increase. 2 rows of single crochet, 1 increase. And so on until we get to row 23. It says 1 single crochet in the next 14 stitches. Continue to work down the side of the cake. 1 crochet in the next 22 stitches. Increase in the last stitch. Working up the other side. 1 single crochet in the next 22 stitches. Blah blah blah. Okay, so looks like we're going to be working up the sides up here, at least starting to, and we will be changing colors too. So I'm going to keep doing my increases, and when I get to at the end of row 22, I will come back and we will start with row 23. You can't even see what I'm looking at. Oh man, okay. So yeah, so I'm going to do all this. This is basically rinse and repeat, and then we'll get to row 23 and then I'll come back. All right, here's where I am so far. I just finished row 22. In row 23, we're going to start building up the walls. So it says single crochet in the next 14 stitches all the way down, and then continue working along the side here. I don't know what's going on with my stitches here. And then make sure, because we have 22 rows, we put a stitch in each row. So make sure that we have 22. And I'll show you what that looks like when I start going down the side. So I'm just going in with the 14 starting, and let me actually grab a stitch marker. Wherever it went, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So these stitch markers are so different from what I'm used to. I'm not going to clip it. I'm just going to like put it in, just so I know where the starting round is. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I missed it. 7. Make sure that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we are at the end of the row. And it says continue to work down the side. So we're going to continue down the side here. It looks like I'm going to be putting, let's see, I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so I'm just making sure I'm placing my stitches where they need to go. So I'm going to stick one probably, we'll see what happens. I might have to redo it, but got one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm just pulling these apart so I can see. 16, 17, 18. Huh. Just seeing if there's a different place I can put stitches. We got 18, 19, 20, 21. I might have to put 2 in here just to keep the stitch count. What I might end up doing also, I'm just double checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Sometimes you gotta have to finagle it, especially when it comes to the side. So I might have to do 2 stitches in here. (21), 22. And it says working up the other side, 1 single crochet in the next 22. So I might end up just adding 2 more down here. 1, 2, 2. The number just needs to be 22. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh, fibers on this yarn are a little crazy. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so once I fit all these in here, we'll come back and I will do the next step. I had to go back a little bit. Oops. I had to go back a little bit and redo this side because it just wasn't adding up. So here's the 22nd chain on this side. And now we're not connecting, so it looks like we're done with that. So it looks like we're just chaining 1 and turning again. And this is working the back loop only of the last single crochet that we did, creating the sides of the cake. So we're going to do rows 1 through 8, single crochet across, back loops only, chain 1 and turn. And that's around the cake, so 46 total. So it looks like we're building up these sides of the cake, right? Even though it says 46. I guess, is that 46 total? It must be 46 total. That's weird. I don't know why it has that on there. And then we're changing color. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep plugging along and see how this ends up. So it looks like we're going to be not joining. So this is gonna be still the last stitch and we're not joining it for some reason, which is weird. So I'm going to chain 1 as instructed and then turn, and then working in back loops only. So back loop only, I'll show you, and that's what that means. Single crochet across, chain 1, turn, 46. Okay, well, I'm not sure how 22 plus 22 equals 46. Did I miss something? But we'll see what happens. Okay, so single crochet across, back loop only. So the back loop is referring to, so let's see if I can show you. So it's referring to, if you're looking straight on, this is the front loop, this is the back loop, and then they have side loops too. But because this stitch is so small, we're not doing side loops, so we're going to do back loops only. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to single crochet. Oh, it's not. Okay, so single crochet. You go in between the V's like that, and you pull up the back loop only and do a normal single crochet. And that's going to push a line. And it's going to look like we're going to have a line, an outline around the bottom. And it'll give a nice finished look. So that's 3. So I'm going to go all the way around, doing that all the way across row 1 through 8. It looks like the pink is going to start on the back. I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see. But it looks like we're just building up the layers of the cake right here. So when I come back, we should have some layers of cake, and we're just going to continue working on the back loops only for these rounds. See what happens. Remember, this is my first time, so if you have any questions about this kit, feel free to leave them down below. I'll answer them the best I can, but again, this is my very first like amigurumi kit ever. So all right, I'll come back once I have rows 1 through 8 done, and then we will change to the pink yarn. So we're coming up on the very last stitch of row 8, and we're going to change colors. So there's a few ways you can do it. I'm going to show you the way I like to do it. So I'm going to go in the last stitch like I'm going to make the last stitch, but I don't complete it yet. And I'm actually going to grab my pink. We're going to add the pink in to complete that last stitch. I'll leave somewhat of a tail. Grab the yarn and pull it through, and then I'm going to tighten my yellow, and then grab the pink, chain 1, and turn. Now we have a color change, and we're going to do the exact same thing with the pink. So it says row 9 and 10 single crochet 1 across, and then chain 1. So we're going to do 2 rows of pink, and then we're going to change color again using the exact same method. And so I counted ahead of time, and the 46 is incorrect. It's 44, because 46 doesn't make sense. You've got 22 stitches on one side and then 22 on the other. 22 plus 22 is 44, not 46. So, and then for the next part, you need 14 stitches to start. And I counted back here, and I have 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14 stitches here. And if I did any more stitches, this wouldn't be 46. So I don't know where the 46 comes from. Anyway, so I'm going to continue on with my layers, and then I'll come back and we'll do another color change. So we're just going to do single crochets. So just regular single crochets working in the back loop only. Same as before. We're going to go all the way around, creating our pink layer. So I'm going to come back and we'll switch colors again. Coming up on another color change. I just finished the 2 rows of pink, and now we're going to change back to the cream color. I did trim the first cream color, so I forgot to show that. But let's just change colors again. Trying not to leave too much of a tail. Okay. Oops, there we go. Okay, so now we're back onto the cream, and I'm going to chain 1 to lock it in place. Tighten my stitches here. Turn. Then I'm going to stick that first chain in there just so it's really secure, and then I will trim this pink. So let's grab my scissors, trim the pink, and then we're going to keep going. So rows 19 through 11, we're going to single crochet across the same exact way, back loop only. And then once we're done with the rows, it looks like we're going to be adding the eyes. So we're going to place eyes on the side of your choice between rows 15 and 16, and then 5 inches apart. Okay, so 11, 12, interesting, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so we're just gonna have to count the rows. So I'm gonna keep track of what row I'm on, and then once I hit the row, row 15 and 16, I'll put a little stitch marker in between so that I have an idea of where to put the eyes. And then once we're done with the rows, then I'll show you where the eyes go. So keep this around. This is good to have so you have a reference. But let me finish the layers and then we'll put the eyes on. Okay, so here is we're on row 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, hold on. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so 16. 16. So we're on 6 rows here. We need 3 more. And this is between rows 15 and 16. So I just placed the black there. It's not going to stay there. That's just, you know, I just grabbed it because, you know, it's just sitting here. If you don't have another stitch marker, you easily use this. Just for, it's sticking to me. Just for, like, you know, temporary use. Because we will eventually take this out and then we'll put the eyes on. Oh my gosh, it's so staticky. But that's just because it's cold outside. Anyway, so I need to finish 3 more layers of cake. And then once we're done with that, then we're gonna add the eyes. So let me finish the layers and then we'll come back and add the eyes. Finish the last round, or the last row of 19 with this much left over, just barely enough to finish. So if you do end up switching out your needles, make sure it's this size needle, otherwise you will run out of yarn and we don't want that. I was afraid that I was gonna run out of yarn. I came close, so got all that done. Now it says place eyes on the side of your choice, so you can pick either side, either this side or this side. I'm gonna match the picture and we're gonna go this side. So, and then it says fasten off, weave in the tail, yarn tails and trim ends. So just finishing my last stitch here, and then I'm just gonna tie it off with a slip stitch. And we're gonna move over here and we're gonna match the picture. So this is the triangle that we're working with. Anyway, so let me grab the eyes. I've never used safety eyes before, so this is new for me. But it says between rows 15 and 16 and about 5 stitches apart. So if you're looking at the picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the picture is wider. The picture is about 8 stitches apart. So if you count this stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. So that's the, oops, I dropped my safety eye. So that's the picture. If you want to match the picture, you're gonna have to have 8 instead of 5. So 5, let's see, I've got, if I put it here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I scoot it over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it's much smaller than the picture shows. So this is 5 stitches apart, which, I mean, definitely doesn't match the picture if you look at it like that. Yeah. I might just do 8, just so it matches the picture. Might have to finagle it a little. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. Here's 8. Might just move it over 1, maybe 2, like that. Can probably move this out of the way now. that's what we're looking at. If you trying to get it in the middle, so I might just move it over one. Might have to do 7. 7 might be our lucky number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Okay, so 7 looks like our lucky number. Looks pretty good. And then let's see, we have the backings here. Again, I've never done this before, so hopefully they have good instructions. They don't have any instructions. All right. That's just fabulous. It just says attach, so I don't know. For somebody who's never done this before, very vague instructions. I don't know if the caps, I'm guessing the caps go like that. Like a cup. Oh, yep. There you go. There's one. My very first safety eye. And there's another one. Okay. Safety eyes are in. You can't move them now. So make sure that they are exactly where you want them to be, because otherwise you're going to be crying. Okay, so that's the body, and it says to weave in the ends and all that stuff. So what I'm going to end up doing though is I might just like tie these ends together just to make sure they don't unravel. I'm going to knot these, and then I just might just like stuff them in the, because this is a 3D image, it's not like a blanket or something. So what I might just do is I might just tuck these in and have the tails just kind of tucked inside. I've seen other people do that, so I'm just knotting these so that it doesn't go anywhere. And we will be embroidering over the raw edges on this side. So yeah, I might just end up tucking these in, and then I might just take this needle and doing the same thing, just like pulling it through here so that the ends are on the inside. That way I know where the inside is. There, see? Okay, all the ends are on the inside, and I don't have to cut anything off or do anything else. So we're gonna set that aside. We're not putting this aside. I thought the cake was gonna be 2 pieces, but it looks like we're gonna do it right on the back. So it says, with pink yarn, work on, well, duh, because this is the only color we got left. With pink yarn, work on row 23 of the bottom of the cake. So I'm guessing that's this right here. So 23 is the end piece right here at the very bottom, right here. So working on the bottom. It says working in the back loops only, chain 1, and then single. So it doesn't even tell you to like, it doesn't say, you know, slip stitch into your work, because that's what you need to do. You got to slip stitch into it, because chain 1 from what? Like from the hook? So yeah, this is very interesting. Okay, so here's the first chain, and it doesn't say if I'm working on this side of my work or this side of my work, so that's confusing too. I'm gonna assume, probably shouldn't be assuming, but I'm gonna guess that we're gonna be working on the outside. But again, it doesn't really say. So with the pink yarn, working on the row. Let's see. This is working in back loops only, chain 1. So you gotta, you know, attach your yarn somehow. Chain 1, single crochet across, chain 1, and then turn. So we're gonna be doing this. Okay. I might have to read ahead. So give me 1 second. Let me read ahead and see how exactly we're going to be assembling the rest of this cake. So reading ahead, it looks like we're going to be making a piece for the back, just separate. Okay, so it's going to be attached here, but it's going to be, you know, a long piece, and then it looks like we're going to be folding it up. Yeah, it's strange because it's like, okay, we've got 21 rows, and then the 21st row looks like it's this bobble top is the 21st row, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the top of the cake. So the top of the cake is also gonna be pink because that's all we have left. Let's see. It says row 1 through 23, same as cake bottom rows. So we're gonna be mimicking the bottom rows for the top, which we'll have to, we'll have to come back here and basically do this again. So the only thing that we're doing that's different is we won't be going up the sides because it's just the top. So the first 23 rows from row 1 to 23, and then we stop. And this is the this row I guess 22. This says 23 for some reason. But yeah. I'm gonna say 22 because there's only 22, like there's only 22 stitches on each side, so 24 or 23 doesn't make any sense. And then once we have that assembled, it looks like we're going to be and okay, so this is the only time it tells you besides here. So right here it says fasten off and leave a 24-inch yarn tail. So that's 2 feet of tail. You're going to need that. So we're going to be using that to attach this piece to the back and then the top piece to the sides of the cake. And then right here it says thread the needle, which is this needle right here, with the black embroidery floss, which is this right here, and add the mouth between the eyes. 1 row down, refer to the cover photo, which is fine. Weave floss in cake and then trim access. So is it just free floating? Like the floss is just free floating on the cake face? Like honestly, if it were me, I would add the face now, because that way you don't have to worry about weaving in and out of the stuffing, and you can actually secure it down. So I'm gonna do that now. I am not following the directions because the directions have already messed up. So I don't trust them. Okay, so for referring to the picture, looks like it's going to be across 1, 2, 3, about 4 stitches, and it's about it's about here. So if we go here, kind of go up a little bit. Whoops. Hold on. So it's a smile, so this is going to be interesting. So if we go like this, pull it across like that. Hold on. So here's what I have so far. Cute little smile thing. I'm trying to position it so it looks fine. Kind of looks a little wonky. If you want, you can add a little, like, they call it a tack down. If you wanted, you can add a little tack down so it doesn't move. That way you can still have the smile. There we go. See, that's cute. Yeah, see, that was not in the instructions. It just says add a mouth. That's all it says. So I am going to tie this off. So that my mouth is secure. And I find it much easier to add the mouth before you do any stuffing, because that way you know it's secure. You can tie this off if you want. I'm going to tie it off like that, and we are done with the mouth. So that's one less thing to worry about. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely let you know what I think about this kit at the very end. So make sure you stay to the very end so you get my review. In the meantime, let's add, okay, so yeah, it doesn't say which side to start on, so I am going to start on the outside and then just keep flipping, 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 and then that way it'll be somewhat consistent. So we're going to start with this first stitch here. I do have this stitch marker here just to show where it starts, so I have a good idea of how many stitches I need. So I need 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hits right here. So that's the 14th stitch. We're going to be using all 14 of these. When in doubt, count your stitches. Okay, so let's grab the pink yarn, and we are going to attach the pink yarn with a slip stitch, even though it doesn't say to do that, but I don't know how else to attach this yarn. So slip stitch into, whoops, slip stitch into this stitch like that, and it's attached. Now that it's on, we're gonna work back loops only, and it says chain 1, so we're gonna chain 1. Our slip stitch does not count as a chain. Chain 1, single crochet across, back loops only. So we're gonna start in this first one. Make sure you don't miss this first one. It's easy to miss. Really get in there. Fiddle. There we go. Okay, once you're in there, you're in there. So back loops only. There's the first stitch. I might just grab another stitch marker because I'll just count it. Whatever. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way across. Back loops only, 14 single crochets, and we're gonna do this all the way up until it's tall enough to meet the top of our cake. So looks like yeah, this is the only one we're doing back loops only, it looks like. Yeah. Okay, so this is a back loop only row, and I believe the next row is just regular single crochets as far as I'm understanding it. Although it's hard to tell because you can't see in the picture. So I'm going off of what I see on top. So I'm guessing that's going to match the sides. I don't know. I'm honestly surprised that they don't have any pictures. They have 0 pictures on the instructions. And that's really strange for Bucilla because they usually have pictures for reference. So that was interesting. Okay, we're coming up on the last stitch of row 1. See if I can move this. Okay, row 1 is done, and then it says chain 1 and turn, chain 1 and turn. And now for rows 2 through 20, we're going to single crochet across, chain 1 and turn. Very simple. So basically we're not gonna do the back loops. We're gonna actually go into the chain here and do a regular single crochet, and we're gonna do that all the way down. So it's going to be one solid back piece, looks like. No texture like the side. So it's going to be solid, just like the bottom. And then once we're done with row 20, we're going to start, it says row 21, slip stitch in next stitch. and then we're going to start the ball. It looks like a bobble-ish type thing. So we're going to do bobbles, and then I'll show you, hopefully, if it's written right, it'll turn out. Look how it says 22 right here. I just want to point that out. Because it did not say 22 on the other side. All right, so let me grab the rest of these rows, and then once I reach the last row, we'll come back and we'll start doing row 21. We are on row 21 now, so I've got 20 rows of single crochet, and notice how it's just a straight, flat backing that will eventually, you know, it's hard to visualize right now, but okay, so we're gonna chain one and turn. And then we're going to do row 21, which is, let's see, it says, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. It says slip stitch in next stitch. Okay, so that's this one, slip stitch. So we're going to slip stitch, which is a little hard with this tiny little hook. Okay, so slip stitch. And then it says slip stitch in next stitch again, so it's 2 slip stitches. And then it says 3 double crochet in next stitch. So double crochet, yarn over again. We've got 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is 1 double crochet. And we're going to put 2 more in here in the same stitch. It's going to create kind of this bobble effect. And then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and then we're going to repeat this 4 times. Okay, so slip stitch, and then double crochet 3, oops, sorry, yarn over, double crochet 1, double crochet 2, go get a blanket, double crochet 3, I gotta go get her a blanket, I'll be right back. Okay, she has a blanket now. So then once you're done, 3 double crochets, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. And it looks like we're going to be doing this 2 more times, and then we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch. So it's interesting how there's 2 slip stitches here. Oh, there should be 2 at the end too. So you should have 2 slip stitches in the beginning, and then 2 slip stitches in the ending. So once we do that, we're going to fasten off and then leave a 24-inch yarn tail for weaving in. So I'm going to finish doing the top here, and then we'll get started on the next step. I wanted to point out my mistake that I made because I got distracted with my daughter. I did not do slip stitch in the next stitch, so I ended up with 3 at the end. So I am fixing my mistake now, starting over, and showing you how to do it properly without being interrupted. Okay, so we already chained 1, and we've already turned, and it says slip stitch in the next stitch, and I accidentally slip stitched in this stitch. So this is the first stitch, this is the next stitch, so we're slip stitching in the second chain from where we turned, and now we're going to start doing our double crochets. Okay, sometimes I think I can multitask, and then I can't. So now we're going to do our 3 double crochets and then our slip stitch, and this should put you in the right area. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, and then we'll do the next part. And I was looking at it because I just started again, so I was looking at these instructions because they're a little bit like, okay, shoot, I'm doing this wrong again. So I double checked my numbers, and the numbers do add up, so I must be missing something. So we're doing a slip stitch and then another slip stitch, so 2 slip stitches, and then 3 double crochet, and then another slip stitch, and then another slip stitch. So I am, for some reason, I keep missing that there's another slip stitch. So I keep thinking there's only 1 slip stitch, but there's actually 2. So this is just user error. I'm waking up still. So we have 2 slip stitches and then a 3 double crochet, and then 2 slip stitches and then a 3 double crochet. And I keep forgetting to do that. So I've got 2 slip stitches now, and then I'm going to do a 3 double crochet. See, I'm learning. This is trust the process and read your instructions. That's important. And then a slip stitch in the next one, and then another, so that's the end, and then another one, so slip stitch. So 2 slip stitches, which I just totally neglected to do. And then 3 double crochets in the next stitch. I will get this right. And then 2 slip stitches in the next 2 stitches. This should add up to 22. This should. All right. And then 3 double crochets, 2 3 double crochets, and then slip stitch. So it's funny because, like, even if I do it this way, it's still not going to add up, which is funny. So I'm just going to see how much is left and then add up my stitches and then correct it, because again, this isn't the first time it's had the wrong number. So let me finish this row, figure out what number I'm working with, and then we'll finish it finally. I think I finally figured it out. So this should say, oh, let me grab my pencil. This should not say in the next stitch. This should say slip stitch in, it should say slip stitch in first stitch, very first stitch, because if you skip this stitch, you only end up with 21 instead of 22. So slip stitch in stitch, so first stitch, and then slip stitch in the next stitch. So that's what it should say. Because if you did it this way, not only do you end up with only 21 stitches, but it's also like, it looks a little bit crooked, like it's off. So I fixed it, looks much better now. It took me like 3 or 4 tries. Like, oh, it's not making any sense. So the 22 is correct, the instructions are not. So, okay. Working out the kinks. Okay, so it says fasten off, leave a 24-inch yarn tail. So we're just going to see, fasten off. Oh, I forgot my hook. So once we're done, we're going to do a chain 1 and fasten off. And then 24 inches, I've got a ruler on my desk here. So 24 inches is my entire length for my mat. So I'm just going like that. Trying not to stretch it because extra is always good. Okay, so that's 24. It's a nice long tail. Cinch it up. And that's our tail. And we're actually going to set this aside for now. And we're going to come back and assemble this when the top is done. So that's going to be put aside. And now we're working with more pink yarn because that's all we got. It says row 1 through 23, same as the cake bottom. So we're going to flip it over and we're going to do rows 1 through 22. The exact same thing that we did for this. So let me actually start it again for you, even though you could easily, go back in the video and look for that. But I just had my hook. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so because these instructions are a little bit messed up, so we're gonna do 2 chains here. So we're gonna do 1 chain, 2 chains, and then we're going to single crochet in the second chain, which is the very first chain we made. If I can get my hook in there. Hold on. I like to do the back bumps just to make it cleaner, but I don't know if it'll let me. There. So single crochet, So that's our first chain, so that's one chain. And then we're going to chain one and turn. So we're working with one single crochet, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch, which means we're going to add 2 single crochets in this one single crochet. Okay, that's how we're going to make our triangle. And then we're going to chain one, turn. Now we have 2 chains we're working with, and then we're going to single crochet across, adding 2 more. So another row of chain 2, chain 1 and turn, and then increase in the next 2 stitches. We're going to have 4 in total. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch and 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Chain 1 and turn, so we have 4 single crochets, single crochet across, 1 in each stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we are on row 5. We're going to do row 6, increase in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 2, increase on the next stitch. So this pattern is going to be until the very end. So we chain 1, increase, adding 2 single crochets on the end here, and then 1 crochet, I'm sorry, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochet in the last stitch. And we're going to have a total of 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1, and then 2 more rows of 6, and then on and on and on. So we're going to go until row 22, and then we're going to have our triangle piece that we will be able to attach on top of the cake. So when I come back, we'll have this finished. Okay, we've got the last piece made, and it says to leave a 36-inch yarn tail, so I did. And we're going to set this aside. And now we're going to grab our main piece, and it looks like we're going to start finishing. So it says fold the ends of the cake up and pin to the sides of the cake. So I don't really have any pins, but I will do my best to like clip them. If that makes sense. And I'll end up pushing these in like, yeah, I'm trying to like match up each of the rows. Sort of. I grab my clips here. See how well I can match these up. Okay, just trying to match the little bumps together. Let's see. So that's one side. Here's the tail. I'm not sure. I'll just pin it and go from there. So we're just gonna put all the tails. This tail's too short, so I might have to. It doesn't say to leave a long tail, so I didn't. Make sure it lines up okay. It's a little hard to tell. Okay. Try to make sure it, like, you know, goes together. It seems like one side's longer than the other. Is that just me? Or... yeah. I think this is gonna be tricky, but I'll do my best to make it look nice. Line it up the best I can. Make sure it doesn't look crazy. All right, I think this is about even. Okay, so says use the cake end yarn tail to sew the end of the cake to the left side of the cake going down the edge. Run the yarn tail across the back, bottom, pink row on the inside of the cake. Continue to sew up the right side. So we're gonna go, I guess we're gonna go down and then across and then up like that. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, that's what I'm understanding. So we're gonna try our best. I'm gonna try to make sure I get these tails in there. And we want to leave these bumps. We don't want to have the bumps. Okay, so it says to, it doesn't say, like, it just says sew. So there's not really like a, interesting. I'm wondering if I can figure out how to sew it so that the pink doesn't show, because like the pink's on the back. So if it was me, I'd use yellow. That's just me though. Yeah, using the pink doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna start sewing. It's weird using a plastic needle. Never used a plastic needle before. Feels weird in my hand. I'm used to my metal needles. So we're just gonna go down the side. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, if this was embroidery, I would not be using pink. Let's just say that. But because this is yarn, yarn is actually quite forgiving. So I'm just hoping these tails stay inside. I'm just kind of placing them wherever, to be honest. I mean, I'm not like matching the stitches together or anything. I'm just kind of going along the side as nicely as I can. Again, it's not going to be perfect because first projects are never perfect. Coming up to the end here. Ugh, getting all tangled. Okay, there's the end. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. That could be worse looking. And then it says to run the yarn tail across the back. So the bottom, the back bottom. Pink row on the side of the cake. on the inside. So like, I'm guessing like push it this way and then come back this way, like that. That's what I understood. So when you look on the inside, you got this line of yarn here. It doesn't say to weave it, so it just says, you know, go through the back and then pop back up here, and then we're gonna sew back up here. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna sew the end, and then once I'm done, it says to weave in the remaining yarn tail inside the cake, fasten off, blah, blah, blah. And then we're gonna pin the top. So the top is gonna be interesting. That's what it looks like so far. It says to pin the top of the cake to the edge of the cake sides, making sure to match up the point to the end, blah, blah, blah. Using the yarn tail, sew the cake top to the sides, going to leave the end of the cake next to the ruffle open. So we're gonna sew it up along here and then leave this open. And then we're gonna add stuffing and then sew it closed. And I already did the embroidery right here, so I don't need to do that. And then it's assuming I have more cream yarn, which by the way, I don't. So I'm out of cream yarn. I'm gonna have to grab another color and do the sprinkles on top. So that'll be fun. Maybe I can find some sparkly yarn to put on top. So I'm gonna finish this side. I'm gonna come back and we're gonna attach the top. I know this video is getting long, but I wanted to be detailed. So thanks for hanging in. If this is your first time with me, thanks for joining me and watching me mess up a bunch of times. This is my first amigurumi, so I am learning with you. Yeah, give us a like if you like this video and want to see more, because I have a lot more that I want to make. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I don't twist this up. So, because I want to have the tail on this side, which it is. And we're going to start right at this stitch at the very beginning and pull this all the way through. Okay, so I'm basically going to use these stitches to attach this side as cleanly as I can, because we don't have any determined stitches on the cake top. So we're just going to weave in and out of each stitch. On the sides here, I use kind of a whip stitch. I'm not really using a whip stitch here because I don't want to cover up these stitches, so I'm just kind of weaving in and out to make it look nicer. As long as it's secure, that's all that matters. And it looks nice. So, and just use your chains as a guide. So I'm going to do this all the way around, following each chain, and I'm going to end here, and then we'll come back. I'll come back, we'll stuff this, and then we'll close it, and then we got to add little sprinkles on top. And I am out of this cream yarn. They did not give me enough cream yarn, so I'm going to grab some other yarn that I have and see if that will work, and then we'll be done. So let me finish this top and then I've gotten to the point where we are ready for stuffing. And I have not like cut off any ties. I've just stuffed them in the middle. So we're gonna grab our stuffing. It comes with the cute little like pre-packaged thing. Figure out a way to open it. I am pretty sure we're gonna be using the entire thing. And hopefully they gave me enough. Oh my gosh. It's taped. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they gave me enough, hopefully. Oh yeah, they gave me plenty. Awesome. Look at how much you get. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see. I mean, look at my hand. That's a good chunk of stuffing. Okay, so we're gonna work with small chunks. Ooh, it's nice and soft. Okay, so we're gonna work with small chunks and kind of just work our way in with our fingers and stuff it. We want it to be nice and plump. You can overstuff, that is a thing. But luckily, yarn is pretty stretchy. So it looks like we'll be able to fit quite a bit in here. And you can kind of mold the cake with your fingers. So you want it to have that like fullness, but okay. Oh yeah, they gave you plenty of stuffing. That's nice. I was a little worried there because the package was so tiny. I'm being very generous with my stuffing. I'm using my fingers to push it all around, kind of shape it a little. Kind of mold it how you want to mold it. I could probably put more in, to be honest. Yeah. So I don't want it to be like super squishy, like I want it to be somewhat firm. Again, the yarn is very stretchy, so I want to make sure I keep its shape. What do you think? I'm trying to get the bottom flat. So if I pick it up, like it doesn't look like it's gonna lose its shape, although I probably could put a little more on top here. I used quite a bit. Over half the stuffing they gave me so far. But I just want to make sure that it's nice and plump so that when you pick it up, you don't like... So, I wonder if I can... Because I can see like the black like through... You know what I mean? Like I can see the black through the yellow, but I guess it's kind of unavoidable. So I did end up taking a little bit more out. I didn't want it to be like too poofy. I'm trying to get it to lay flat on the bottom, and that seems to be a little bit difficult, but I think this looks pretty good. It does look like the cake is a little bit like lopsided. I don't know if that's just, I don't know, the yarn or my stitching. I'm trying to stretch it out to make it look somewhat even, like all the way across. I don't know. I'm trying to move the black yarn so I don't see it. I just kind of stuffed it in the stuffing. It seemed to work. That's the best I can do though. So I'm trying to pull these up so that you can actually see the ends of the cake, and they'll probably mold it a little bit more once I get this closed. So it says to add the stuffing, sew the opening closed, secure the yarn, weave in the yarn, and then we're basically done. So I'm going to continue weaving the yarn in. I didn't stop, so I just kind of paused, and then I'm just going to go in and out the back here, and I'm just going to go through the back and then up through. I'm using each chain as a guide. So I'll go back down and just kind of sticking this wherever. Like, I don't think it matters because it's the same color, so it's not like it's gonna be sticking out too much. Okay, once I get this done, then we will be finished with our cake. So I just tied it off, and I'm just using my needle to kind of push through the stuffing a little bit. And then I'm gonna actually go all the way down here and have my tail down here. That way you can't see it and it looks finished. And then take your scissors and kind of push it a little, and then you're done. Well, not quite. We're almost done. So now you can use your fingers to kind of mold it a little bit. And honestly, I feel like this cake is just, it's so thick. Like, look how thick this cake is. Okay, so the very, very last step, after you've done your embroidery, if you waited to this time, is to, it says thread, okay, thread the needle with a 12-inch piece of cream yarn, which we are out of. We do not have any more cream yarn. It says stitch 6 straight stitches on top of the cake for sprinkles. Each sprinkle is about a ½ inch long. Spread them out randomly. Refer to the photo as needed. Weave in the yarn tails inside the cake, blah, blah. So, because I don't have any more cream, I'm going to see what I have. And I don't have a lot of colors, but I do have my sparkle yarn. So, I grabbed the one I'm using right now. And I was like, you know what? This color is a little dark. So I grabbed the middle, and I am going to use a middle piece that's kind of a lighter color. And with the sparkle, I think that would be really cute. So that's what I'm using. It's kind of a mess now. I just finished making my scarf, and I'm going to be making some hand warmers. So hopefully I'll show you guys when I'm done with that. That's in a different video. But for now, I'm going to grab my needle. It's got pink on it. And I like this because it's got little sparkly chunks on it. I think that's perfect for the top of this cake. If I can get it in the needle. Okay. So it just says to stitch straight stitches. And it gives you a picture of kind of where to do it. I guess we'll just kind of weave them in. I'll do... I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to do this because, again, this is like... Here, let me see if I can go like this. Oops. So I'm gonna leave a tail right here. I might need to cut longer than 12 inches. So I'm gonna put a sprinkle right here. Then I'm going to come up here and put a sprinkle right here. And then come up here. I'm just doing this randomly. Put a sprinkle right there. And then I'll put a sprinkle right there. It is a little hard to keep this on the needle. Okay, and then I'll put a sprinkle right here, I guess. I mean, I would like to come back over here. You can kind of play with it, like, I mean, that's okay. I might do it differently. Oops. So if you don't like the placement, you could always take this out and start over, which is what I'm doing. I might start with it up here, possibly, and then go down. Trying really hard to keep the sprinkles on. So I'm actually gonna kind of come from here and go all the way back here and do some vertical sprinkles like that, and then I'll come over here and do another one. And then maybe I'll go over here and do a somewhat horizontal one like that. I'll come down here. So it's like random, you know, like, hopefully this makes sense. So that's kind of more random. And then I'll put one like right here. And then I'm going to come back this way. That's a little better. I mean, it's definitely not as random. See if I can do a different direction. Again, play with it. I might just, I might go here again, but then I might come over here and do a diagonal one. Just kind of mess with it. See what you like. I want it to look random, you know? Like someone just, you know, dumped a little bit of sprinkles on top. And I'll just go like that. That's better. I don't know. We'll just go with that. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can give myself some more tail for this end. So I can tie this off nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna tie this together. And then I'm just gonna poke the tails in. Hopefully I'll be able to poke them in. Okay, I won't be able to, but I can pull the tails in this way. So that's not really that big of a deal. It's just a little extra work. Oh my goodness. I'm not used to working with plastic needles, so this is a new thing for me. Oh my goodness. Maybe I might have to do one at a time. Might have to do one at a time. Okay, let me at least get one so you see what I'm talking about. Get that in there. And then push it down. Get it as far as you can. That way you don't have to snip it. So that's what I mean. So like, you don't even know where it is now. And you can do the same thing for this one. You can just hide it in the stuffing. Okay, if you pull it enough, you shouldn't see it at all. All right. And then if it does poke out, you can just push it back, snip it, and it's done. And the cake is finished and very, very interesting. All right. So I will give you my 2 cents about this kit, and I'll keep my review short. Overall, this project was definitely on the harder side. I think even like an intermediate person would have a hard time with this. And I had a little bit of a hard time. I think a lot of it had to do with the instructions. Okay, so my question to Plaid. Was this tested? Was this pattern tested by a human? Because, to be honest, I've seen AI patterns, and I've seen worse patterns, but through AI. But I'm curious if this was designed around an AI. If it's not, that's fine. If it's not, then whoever tested this before you put it out there missed a few things. For example, the very beginning, as you all know, it just didn't make sense. The numbers didn't make sense, and the chains, like the number of chains, just didn't add up. This wasn't the only area. So it's this area in the very, very beginning, as well as the cake end. That didn't make sense either. And then basic like working, the back stitch only, chain 1. Okay, well, you didn't say where to attach it. Like, I know it says to work on this row, but it doesn't really give you good instructions to attach. So anyway, for my first amigurumi, it wasn't too bad. I think the design itself is cute, although a little flawed in my opinion. I feel like, if you look at it, the top is way smaller than the sides are. Like, even if I didn't stuff it, like if I kept it the way it was, just by looking at it, like it looks like it should be slimmer. But there are just a lot of stitches here. So either make the top a little bit wider and the bottom a little wider to accommodate for that, or less stitches here. I'm not sure. But overall, this was really cute. It was a really cute project. Not too bad for my first one. Of course, I think I picked the hardest one out of all 3 that I currently have, because it's not a round pattern. So usually round patterns are a little easier. But this is Cate the Cake. Let me know what you think below. If you would make this, let me know. Would I recommend this to anybody? Probably not, honestly, especially with how the instructions are written. Even these numbers are wrong. Like, it's not 46, it's 44. It doesn't make sense. 22 plus 22 equals 44. So I wouldn't recommend this kit, for a beginner, at least. If you want a challenge, then yeah, go ahead, do it. I looked all over the internet, and I have not found one tutorial about the cake, and now I know why. I know why now. It's difficult. The instructions are a little bit messy, and some of it's a little bit lacking too. The instructions are as well as they can be for what they are. There needs to be more photos. This is the only photo you get. You don't get a good back picture photo. You don't get a good bottom photo either. Like, you just get the top, the sides, and a little bit of the top here. So there needs to be more photos in the instructions, especially when it comes to like joining 2 colors together. When you've already, when you're adding a color, or when you're adding a separate piece onto an already sort of finished piece. Yeah. So lack of pictures. Some of the instructions are questionable. This part was actually really challenging here. Like, just figuring this part out was a little bit of a challenge. And even then it still looks kind of wonky. Overall, I give this probably a 5 out of 10. But for my first amigurumi, this was a challenge. If I was a seasoned one, maybe a seasoned person, I might give it a little bit of a higher ranking. But because I am technically a beginner at amigurumi, this was hard. So I hope this video was helpful. If you stayed to the end, you're amazing. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. I know a lot of people watch my videos and are not subscribed, and I don't know why. I don't know what I did wrong or what I'm doing wrong. They just kind of watch my videos and leave. So I'm hoping to have a lot more variety on my channel. So I'm planning on doing lots of fun things. I've got another few kits, and I have some of the stuff that I'm working on. So let me know if you liked this video in the comments. Let me know if you liked this cake. Let me know if you've made this before. I would love to hear your feedback and your experience. Such a chunky little piece of cake. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.